Coach, are you good down there?
You were asking
All right,
about
okay. Okay.
Good. All right.
Well, they put an offer on something and it went for 50 grand more
So we're saying swearing
to
in
somebody
before
else.
we start the meeting?
And I'm going to call to order. We're going to pledge the flag.
Swearing in and then swearing.
Yeah.
I'm going to call to order our organizational meeting for January 12th, 2022, followed by our regular meeting. So at this point, we will pledge to the flag, if you please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point, we're also just going to take an oath of office for the newly elected for the 4-year term, so to myself and Mr. Campbell and Mrs. DeCapua, who is not here today. So, Matt, I think we're going down here.
So may I have the right hand, yes, and then, yeah, why don't we do the left hand with the right hand? Okay, that looks better. All right. Okay. Just repeat after me, gentlemen. I state your name.
I, Matt Campbell,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that in accepting the foregoing appointment
And in accepting the foregoing appointment
as Canfield Local School Board member,
as Canfield Local School Board member,
that I will uphold and support
that I will uphold and support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio
and the policies
and the policies
of the Canfield Local School District.
of the Canfield Local School District.
During my term,
During my term,
I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll get it to you.
Thank you, Judge Russo. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Here.
Mr. Campbell,
Here.
Mrs. DeCapua, Mrs. Klucher.
Here.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Here. At this point, I think we need, as President Pro Tem, we now need to move forward for calling for officers for the 2022 year. So are there any nominations on the floor for election of the office of president?
I nominate Mr. Atway.
Second.
I'll accept that nomination. Thank you. Any discussion?
Congratulations.
Nope, roll call. Roll call first.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
Okay. Election of the office of vice president. Any nominations for vice president?
I'll nominate Matt.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
All right, congratulations, Matt.
Congratulations.
I think at this point I can turn it over to you, Mr. Nolan.
Yeah, so we'll do the resolutions as a consent agenda, if that's okay. We'll go over all of them and then have one vote.
Okay.
So the first one, to give authority to superintendent to carry out policies, is adopted by the Board of Ed. To establish the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. for regular meetings of the Board of Education in the Canfield High School Auditorium at 100 Cardinal Drive. Set the Board of Education Service Fund at $5,000. To designate the Vindicator as the district's official newspaper. To waive the reading of the record of proceedings of each meeting. To use Robert's Rules of Order in the absence of board policy. And to authorize the treasurer to pay bills within the adopted appropriations. All those as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the resolutions as stated in 1 through 7 as presented by Mr. Knoll.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
All right.
Principals, I
Yes,
think at
we're-
this point,
We're ready.
all right, so we have our introduction of the December Rotary Students of the Month. And how do we want to go in order as the agenda? So we'll start the way I see it here. So 12th grade, Mr. Moldavon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Atway. It gives me great pleasure as principal of Canfield High School to present to you our Rotary Student of the Month, and that would be 12th grader John Hano. And John is back there. John, come on up. As John comes up here and gets his award, just a couple of things going on here as far as John's concerned. He and his mother and father and sister live on Farmington Circle in Canfield. John is an extraordinary young man. He exemplifies really all of the qualities of Rotary. Academically, 4.33 GPA, and that's in 8 AP advanced classes. Unbelievable. He was nominated by Mr. Kelly because John is intimately involved with the band, serves in many, many different categories and many different roles with the band and the band leadership. Listen to some of these words that his teachers used to describe him. Intelligent, dedicated, reliable, loyal, talented, selfless, caring, and compassionate. And these are wonderful, wonderful words that adults and his peers are using to describe him. He's very dedicated to serving the school and the community, and he just has an exemplary and extensive record of volunteerism, which we know is one of the hallmarks of Rotary. So, John really, really fits the category, if you will. He was described by some of his teachers as one of the best leaders they've ever seen. His leadership roles in the band, he's in the trumpet section, squad leader. He organizes, rehearses chamber groups, serves as band council, as band president and band manager. He volunteers, has an outstanding rapport with his peers. And teachers can talk about students, and that's great and everything, but when your peers respect you, that means so much. And John has that respect among his peers. He has the heart and mindset of a servant leader, somebody said here, which I just thought was great. On a lighter note, John's favorite subject in school is science. That's great. He has a sister named Emily. She's a sophomore in the high school. He has a dog named Quentin. And I'll bet there's a story behind that, but I don't know about that. He has a cat named Smokey. And he enjoys with his family outdoor activities, camping, things like that. He wants to go into engineering and music. Very involved with the trumpet and wants to be a patent attorney when he leaves college. He's involved in Eagle Scouts. Folks, this is just a fine young man. So, John, if I can give this to you here, congratulations on Rotary Student. Thanks, John. You can go back. Okay. Also, the Canfield High School, as representing the high school, we would like to recognize the school board in School Board Appreciation Month, and not everybody will see what our students did, but they created a video where they discussed the wonderful impact that our school board has had on the school community and themselves, and we hope you enjoyed the video that we presented to you. So thanks again, school board. Appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations, John, and to the Hano family. Appreciate it. So best of luck in your college pursuit too from here. Mr. Rubin, I think you're presenting.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jed Rubin. I'm the principal of Canfield Village Middle School, and I would like to present Bryce Roberts as our December Rotary Student of the Month. So, Bryce, if you would come up, please. just wanted to talk about Bryce a little bit. Bryce was chosen for his outstanding leadership these past few years at Canfield Village Middle School. I first met Bryce when he was in 3rd grade. Bryce was known as an exceptional athlete in any sport he participated in. While I was watching him play a basketball game, I soon realized that Bryce was an exceptional teammate as well. He was always sharing the ball and encouraging his peers to succeed. Bryce has shown the same type of leadership throughout his middle school years as well. He is very humble, respectful to all of his teachers, and a true friend to all his fellow classmates. Bryce clearly defines the adage that he is a much better person than athlete. And if you see him on the football field or basketball court, that says a lot. I look forward to rooting for him on both for his academic and athletic accomplishments during his duration here at Canfield. I did bring him down to my office, and we were able to talk for a few minutes. I had a few questions for him. So his favorite subject in school is science. His dad is a science teacher, and he enjoys doing a lot of experiments. I asked him to tell me something about his family, and I've heard about some ultra-competitive pickleball games in the backyard with the family. I know it's always Mom and Bryce and Paige and his dad, her dad, going at it pretty good. So I got to hear some stories about those infamous games. Something he'd like to do in the future was maybe pursue basketball or football in the professional manner, and also look into something in the medical field after. And one thing he loves to do is play sports, and he's probably missing out on 300 shots he'd probably get off if he wasn't here right now. So, but Bryce, we're so proud of you, and we look forward to many accomplishments. We got this for you.
Congratulations, Bryce, and the Roberts family.
And again, I just want to reiterate Mr. Baldwin said we appreciate the board and everything you do. Those red bags are from the middle school. We had some of our students wrote some appreciation letters. And over there on the piano, we have a mural. We made sure that Mr. Atway and Mr. Campbell's sons did sign that mural. We made sure, but that'll be hanging in our wall in the cafeteria for the month of January. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Lavery, or, yeah, I think.
Thank you. This is Madison Calvert. She is one of our students at C.H. Campbell, and she truly exemplifies all of the characteristics that Canfield Rotary likes to honor. And she's been a part of C.H. Campbell for 5 years now. She's very responsible, very friendly young lady. I think one of the neat things is a lot of the kids you just tend to get to know a little bit better, and Maddie waits for a daycare bus every day, so she hangs out a few extra minutes in the office area. And during that time, she truly exemplifies the characteristic of service. She's willing to help in any way, in any manner that she can. All of the younger kiddos that are also waiting for that bus as well and waiting for transportation, she's the first one to take them under her wing, treats them, like they're her little brothers and little sisters, and make sure that they're taken care of day in and day out. It's truly an amazing thing to see every day. In addition to that, if she's ever needed for anything else, she always steps up to the plate and is willing to put in the time and effort to make sure that she's helping out in any way that she can. And she's also a model student. When I spoke to her teacher was very excited that she was being nominated and that she was going to be honored today, and said she was at the top of her list as well to nominate for this award. So very, very happy to honor you with this. When I spoke to Maddie a little bit, we asked her what her favorite subject was, and a girl by my own heart, she said social studies, and said she just loves learning about the branches of government and learning about the Constitution. As a former social studies teacher, I appreciated that. And in addition to that, she's joined here today by her mom, her dad, and her little brother Nick, who also attends C.H. Campbell. And when I asked them what they like to do, she said one of her favorite things is to go to amusement parks. And they've made many, many Cedar Point trips, so very excited. Maybe I'll see you there someday. And her future plans, she wants to either be a doctor or an actor. And those, I think, are great goals. She also wants to visit Hawaii and Los Angeles, so some big plans for her coming down the line. In addition to all that, she also does dance lessons and competes in competitive dance, which is a very fun thing to do in her free time, and also likes to jump around on the trampoline and do tricks. So she is truly an amazing student, an amazing addition to our family at C.H. Campbell. Couldn't be more proud of you, and it is with honor that I present you with this award as our Rotary Student of the Month. Congratulations. In addition to that, everybody should have a packet. I know our teachers have been bombarding you with some videos, thanking you for your service. I'd like to thank you as well for all the service and time and effort that you put into making our schools a great place. My favorite addition in those packets are some portraits that our kindergarten students have drawn of each one of you. They used the pictures that were on the website to draw those. There's also a few for Mr. Knoll and Mr. Vito and Ms. Prince. So enjoy taking a look at those. I saw some very nice likenesses in there. So I hope you enjoy that as well. Have a great night.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, Madison, and to the Calvert family.
Lipstick anymore.
Mr. Flood.
And I have 8 teeth.
Good evening. Michael Flood, principal of Hilltop Elementary. I have Mrs. Urmson. She recognized Tessa Napo for this month's Rotary Student of the Month. You know, I go into what she wrote, and then I'll tell you why that I appreciate her at Hilltop. You know, she was picked because she's a ray of sunshine in the class. She brightens up everyone's day. She's always kind, helpful to others. She has a sense of humor and makes the class fun for all. Her mom, Sam, is in the crowd here. Her dad, named Anthony, she said, very smart. So I like that. Sister Nina is a freshman, and Reagan is a 7th grader. So, you know, she is truly very special to Hilltop. She's going to do great things. Favorite subject is reading. She loves to swim, and when she becomes older, she likes to become an eye doctor. I had the moment that, you know, any parent, any educator wants to be a part of was the first week of school this year. We had a student, special needs student, having a tough time, not responding well to myself. And I knew we had to get someone else involved. And I went down and asked her, would you come down and help this little girl? And within seconds, she just turned her from having a bad day to an outstanding day. And I couldn't do that after 19 years being in education. Here's a girl in 4th grade, changed this girl's life, and she's having a great year. So we do want to appreciate that. So you're very special, and we're proud of you. We do want to appreciate you guys and ladies. What you guys do for our kids is amazing. Every decision you think, what's best for our kids, and it really shows. And we had the kids make cards. Each grade level made a certain grade level. A board member, Mr. Campbell, we had to pick 1st grade for you. So see what your daughter has in plan there. But very good cards there. Hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again to Tessa and the Napa family. And congratulations to all our Rotary of the Months. So thank you for being here. And just for respect of your time, I know if you guys need to leave, it's a school night, you're more than welcome to leave now, or you can stay and enjoy the rest of the excitement at this meeting. So it's up to you. Thank you. Mr. Knoll, I
Yes.
think it's back to you.
I will continue with our program of recognizing our school board in the month of January with the following proclamation. Whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children. And whereas Nader Atway, Matt Campbell, Tracy Kapowicz, Jenny Klutcher, and Dave Wilkinson contribute greatly to this community through their service on the Canfield Board of Education. And whereas These school board members are serving our community with integrity, honor, and commitment to our children's future. Now therefore, I, Joseph Knoll, do hereby proclaim my appreciation to the members of the Canfield Local School Board and proclaim the month of January 2022 as School Board Recognition Month in the Canfield Local School District. I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing their dedication and hard work of the local school board members and in working with them to mold an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. So we thank you. Mr. Vitto has a proclamation to hand out to all of you. So on behalf of Mr. Vitto, Ms. Prince, and I, all of our staff and children, community, and Canfield, we thank you for your time and effort. How about a nice round of applause for our board members, please?
Thank you, Mr. Knoll.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vitto. At this point, we are going to review presentation of the minutes from the December 15th, 2021 meeting when we do receive those in advance. If there is a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved. Wilkerson.
Second, Klucher.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes. Reviewing the policy of 8450.01.
Yes, so about 3 months ago, we put this policy, made a revision to it, and in the policy, talking about masking, we had to be reviewed in 90 days. So that takes us to here. So I didn't know if the board had any specific questions at all on the policy as it was stated. We also did tell the community that we would reevaluate our masking requirement tonight as well. So if there's no comments or concerns about the policy itself, we could maybe have a brief discussion on moving forward with our masking requirement.
Anybody have? No, with the policy itself, I don't have anything.
Yeah, regarding
The
policy. Is that what we're?
Yeah.
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 Or and then the masking requirement as well, from this point on.
Well, would that be two separate things?
Yes, yeah. If everybody's okay with the policy as we have it there.
So then, so we'll start, let's do the policy first, and then at that, do I have to make a motion to
No,
accept?
we don't have to do anything to
With
it or
this?
approve it.
Okay.
It's just,
We're just
I was
reviewing
asked
it.
to
Gotcha.
present it, and if there was
Okay.
any comments or questions you had on what we had written. But Mr. Vitto and I didn't have any updates that we needed to pass on to you.
So this is the same as the one that we approved in
That is correct.
September?
Okay.
Yep,
Was it-
yep,
No, I think it's still
okay.
a good policy to keep in place.
Thanks, John.
So then in regards to moving forward from this point on, so I know we had said from your all call that we were gonna assess where we were sitting with masking from this point. So any feedback, recommendations that you'd like to move forward with? Is that what we're looking to
Yeah,
discuss?
absolutely, yeah. I don't know if the board has any thoughts?
Well, I mean, the issue with the masking at this point is that the impact that we're having, given the fact that the kids walk out the door and take them off and go home, and I mean, even in the best case scenarios, which was the FDA or the CDC's, I think, study of studies, you know, it was like a 10% impact, and that was when there was actual compliance to all this back in 2020. And now we're dealing with Delta and Omicron, and, you know, it's like we're holding up a paper plate to stop a fire hose. And then we were holding up a paper plate to stop a garden hose. And I went, you know, Saturday out to dinner, and we had to go to 4 different places to not have to wait an hour, and nobody was wearing masks. So I just think at this point, telling people to wear masks is not all that effective. So that's my opinion about that.
And just to build off your comments, Dave, I think the biggest challenge, so I always look at it, I've got a science background, and so I think the biggest thing for me is it's control and variable, and we need solutions, and we've seen that we've been very adaptable, and you've come with recommendations that have tried to keep us in person, and that's the ultimate goal, is to keep us in person, not have to go to remote. But the thing that I clearly see that we can't control is what's happening after school hours, and when people are not wearing masks and cross-pollinating with environments that they're still being potentially exposed, it negates what we're trying to do in the schools. And so for that, I think that an optional policy would probably be more appropriate for those people that feel comfortable and passionate about maintaining mask wearing. Because to Dave's point, I went to a basketball tournament for my 11-year-old. It was in Salem, and there was probably close to 500, 600 people, and not a single person, maybe one or two, were wearing masks. And then we also went out to dinner this weekend, and masking is not the majority. So for that, I would probably say, as much as we're making a good faith effort, if we can't control all of the variables within the school, it's almost like we're cross-canceling it out. It's just not.
And I'll chime in. I mean, I agree for the most part with what Dave and Nader has said. I work in a school that doesn't require masks, and it hasn't had any adverse effect. I'm getting more and more skeptical of what's out there as far as the information that's coming to us through our local school board, the Ohio Health Department. Things have been changing constantly, so I'm losing faith in those. I'll be happy to go on record at saying that. And I think when it comes down to the bottom line is, it should be a choice for the families and the teachers. And, if they feel safer wearing it, then so be it. If they feel like it doesn't help and it's more of a nuisance or more of a issue, or it's, there's more liability by wearing it, then I think it should be their choice.
I'm just gonna say, I know when my son's in a class with a child with a nut allergy, nobody can bring nuts in the class because we look out for the safety of everybody. My opinion hasn't changed.
Well, I'm hearing the message loud and clear, but I do need to say this. I do applaud and appreciate the board allowing us to start masked up after the break. The guidance that we received from the health department, the governor, the ODH said it's going to be a tsunami, and you guys saw the numbers. We had 57 positive students and 24 staff. And to Mr. Atway's point, my number one job is to keep us in school. And I don't want to make that call saying we have to go remote. That's the call I do not want to make. And I think by doing what we did for a couple weeks here, we put ourselves in a good place. As of today, I have 2 staff members. And that's what's significant. I can't run a school without staff.
Absolutely.
That's really what it comes down to. So I do applaud you giving me the 2 weeks. Okay, I see where we're going to go, and I appreciate that. I work at the pleasure of the board. But you've empowered me with my number one goal being keep kids in school. And I will continue to do that to the best of my ability. Like I said, I don't want to have to make that call, say we have to go remote. That's going to be painful for me, but we're going to keep working hard to do what we can. But actually this week has been a lot better, and that makes me feel good that our trajectory is going in a better way than it was when we came right back from the break. So I do appreciate that. So what I'm hearing is we probably need a motion to rescind that mask mandate and make mask optional.
Okay.
Correct, moving forward?
And then I just want to make the comment to thank you and applaud you for continuing to make the students and the staff and administration a focus of safety in school, and just being adaptable to the situation as it's been obviously ever-changing. So thank you for that. So based on the discussion we've just had, can I get a motion to modify our masking policy to make it optional within the Canfield School District?
So moved. Wilkerson.
Campbell seconds.
Any more discussion?
My only question would be the date of implementation. I would prefer just to finish out this week and start after Martin Luther King Day, would be Tuesday, if you guys are so inclined to agree with that.
I would support that, just because I think by the time you communicate it out, you probably wouldn't communicate it out until tomorrow, and then in theory, it would just be one day, so.
My only request is that we let the kids taking finals in the next 2 days, because I've had a lot of complaints about headaches and just distractions and all of that.
That's some extended mass breaks at the high school during exam
Well,
time. I'm
when
with
they're
you.
taking those
Yep,
tests,
yep, I'm
if
with
they
you.
want it, I mean, does that sound workable, guys?
We
That
can
while
pull that
they're
off,
taking
guys.
those tests, they're able to take those off?
Okay. So we'll just let the high school deal with that, if that's okay? Okay, and then I'll communicate out that come next Tuesday, we'll go back to masks being optional in the district. Okay, I appreciate
Fair
that.
enough. Thank you.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
No,
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes. All right. At this point, we have public participation, so if anyone grab that by chance?
I do.
You did, all right, wonderful. So, the rules for 2022 stay the same. I think we're all familiar with it. You have, if you would just come up, if your name is called, you have 3 minutes to speak. Just state your name and address for the record, and we'll hold public comments to no more than 30 minutes.
Chad Hawks?
Chad Hawks, 503 Greenmont. Thank you to the board for reasserting what the previous policy was. Obviously, I wrote this ahead of time. Dr. Michael Osterholm, who is a member of the Biden COVID task force, says cloth masks don't work. Dr. Lena Wen, who wants vaccine mandates, lockdowns, and is a CNN contributor, calls cloth masks, quote, facial decorations, and they have no place in the fight against the virus. Dr. Monica Gandhi, who is one of the biggest supporters of masking at the beginning of the pandemic, says because of the new variant, cloth and surgical masks are worthless. Dr. Vinay Prasad of UC San Francisco's Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics says we lack credible data that masking children in school slows the spread. Dr. Sinitra Gupta, professor of epidemiology at Oxford, says there is now ample observational data to suggest that mask mandates do not work, and the few formal trials that have been conducted show no credible effect. Just last week, the British Public Health Authority ran a study on masking in school. What did it find? There was no statistically significant impact. In short, if there was any positive impact, it was too small to be measured. The report also mentioned there are clear negative educational impacts of masking. This has always been the case, but now it's safe for public health officials to finally admit it. Yet, despite this emerging consensus, Superintendent institutes masking as a purely reactionary policy, and like always, with no evidence it benefits children. He'll tell you it's to make sure we keep schooling in person. The two of these are not related. It's a total non sequitur. Omicron is far less severe to everyone. This is great news. Cases have climbed exponentially. Deaths and hospitalizations have decoupled. For school-age children, they are 4 to 5 times less likely to be hospitalized with Omicron compared to Delta. But don't forget, children were never at an elevated risk. The virus is here to stay. Every child, every teacher, every administrator will be infected many times throughout their lives. So what are we accomplishing with masking? What sense does it make to protect students and teachers that have already had the virus? Probably 60% of the people in this district have had it. Teachers worried can get vaccinated to reduce their risk of severe disease. These seesaw decisions inflame passions in the community. Stop playing games. Constant meddling with this issue is going to turn future votes on school levies into referendums on masking. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm not blind. Stop dividing this district with the pseudoscience and anxiety. Burdening children to alleviate irrational fears is immoral and unethical. If this district plans on continuing this nonsense in the future, it's time for me to look at educational alternatives for my children. This unscientific mandate that offers only burdens to children needs to end. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hawk.
Brian Chapona?
I'm Brian Chapona, 8035 Briarwood Court. I did have some stuff about masks, but I'm happy we're going optional. So I do have some things I'd like to discuss about the student-teacher ratios. Boardman is 20 to 23, Austintown is 19 to 22, South Range is 20 to 24, and Poland is 23 to 25, and it's 23 to 24, and as soon as they got to 25, they added a teacher. Canfield, do you know what your numbers are? You obviously do. 24 to 27. So why do we have no student teachers? Why do we have no parapros? Why can't a licensed PE apply for a phys ed teacher position? Why are there no open positions on the district website of any kind? Why do these kids only get gym and art every other week? Why can't you start a PE or art teacher halfway through the year? My kids won't remember English class, sorry. They will remember the fun they had and the memories they had with gym and a cool art teacher. Granted, I appreciate Canfield's great academic programs, but these programs are the most memorable for me in school, so I want that for my children, okay? There are 3 new housing developments going in this year. If I was moving into this area, I probably wouldn't choose Canfield based on these numbers. I think I'd probably go with Poland or South Range or something, but anyway. Canfield's losing the war on this. I think we need to step it up a little bit, okay? That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, no? That's it.
That's it. Thank you. All right, Mr. Knoll, new business.
Okay, so we'll do some personnel. I'd like to recommend the following: the unpaid parental leave for Ashley Gibbs, high school teacher, following 6 weeks paid sick leave beginning January 3rd through approximately March 14, 2022, with the possibility of 2 additional weeks. Also, the unpaid parental leave for Marissa Betts, Hilltop teacher, following 6 weeks paid sick leave beginning approximately March 3rd, 2022 through June 2nd of 2022. And unpaid parental leave for Marissa Rocher, Hilltop tutor, following use of paid sick leave beginning approximately April 11, 2022 through May 23rd, 2022. All those folks as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the personnel leaves as presented?
So moved, Klucher.
Second, Wilkerson.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
I gave you a calendar for your perusal. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that yet, but wanted to talk about that for next year. I know it might be a little early for some folks, but I'd like to get that done if we can. Not much of a difference actually from this year. I do plan on starting on Monday, August the 22nd, instead of like a Wednesday like we did this year. So we're gonna have some teacher in-service days the week prior. For the kids out there, Christmas is on a Sunday, so that's a tough one. I do have 2 days prior to Christmas on the calendar, and especially for families that like to plan time away. Spring break is very similar to this year, and we'll get done, actually, the kids will get done on May 31st, which is kind of nice, and last teacher day will be June 1st. So I don't know if the board had any questions or comments on the calendar.
What's Teacher Flex Day? August
Teacher
15th?
Flex Day, in the teacher's contract, they're required to come in 1 day prior to the school year to work on their rooms, meet with colleagues, do some grade level stuff. So they have to put that day in prior to the start of school.
Okay.
That's the Flex Day.
Is this the earliest we've ever finished?
Yes, and I'm not a fan, just to go on the record. I don't like starting this early at all.
So that was gonna be my second question, though. How early, so that starting the 22nd is about
It's 2 days
Well,
early.
that's when the,
It's 2
Oh,
days.
no,
Like
I'm sorry.
this year, we started on the 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 2 days. Instead of starting on Wednesday, we're starting on Monday.
Then they go, and the fair break doesn't start until the 31st. So in theory, they're going,
Correct.
so this will be the first time that they're actually going a full week before they hit break, because we're used to coming in, I think, a couple days and then having fair break. Is
Right.
that right, Dave?
I think we did we did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I
But
think
that's
this
a
year,
new
and Monday,
thing.
Tuesday.
That's a new thing. I
So-
mean, historically.
Oh, the way we did it this year was new? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have
Well,
done it
we've
the year
had it a
before.
few
Yeah, I
years.
think
We
I-
did it the year before because,
Yeah.
because of the way the timing was, because it was really late into September. But, I mean,
Labor Day?
historically, you know, the earliest we started was the week of the fair, you know, that Monday. So this is a full week earlier than we have historically done it. And even that starting, like, the 29th is a new thing, probably maybe 6 years, something like that.
Running, okay.
I mean, I'm looking at this, I think I was actually impressed that we could finish early, knowing that we're starting a couple days early, but I think if we publish it early enough, like we're doing now, and then from a planning purpose, I think every family member, as long as they have the calendar and know what it looks like, it's not that.
Well, one of the things Mr. Vitto's gonna tell you is this: the state doesn't care when you start school. They have their tests and assessments there. And to me, I wanna give our kids in Canfield every opportunity to do well. And that's why, to me, I think the quicker we get in and we can get to work, the better. Because the state's not gonna change their dates, right, Mr. Vitto? They are what they are. Whether we're ready or not, here they come, so. But like I said, I just kinda stole this year's and kinda morphed it into this one for next year. I didn't know some of the 6-year pattern, to be honest with you, but, I mean, if there's any other discussion or thoughts on it?
I like what Nader said, that we get to finish I like finishing as close to Memorial Day as possible. And I do like the fact that we get the kids in before the fair so that they can get their feet wet, get their syllabus, get their school supplies, get themselves organized, get used to their locker. And then as soon as the fair's over, come back and hit the academics.
And a lot of times I feel like the comments we always hear are why they just go into school for 2 days and then they're off for 5 days. So at least now they're coming in to get their baseline for the first 5 days, and they'll have, so I actually.
And don't forget, we do a lot of, with our elementary kiddos, Mr. Vitto helped me about benchmarking.
That's huge.
Those first days as well, which the teachers and the administrators have said has been very helpful. That was new to me as a superintendent, but I think that makes a ton of sense, actually, so.
And as a parent of one of those kids that get the benchmarking, I do appreciate knowing he's gonna have almost a full week before the fair.
And with Christmas being on a Sunday, them students having that Thursday, Friday off before, plus the following week, I think that's.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
and they're getting Monday the 2nd off?
We have to do that because contractually, people that work 12 months, they have to have a holiday, and you can't have New Year's on Sunday, so that turns into Monday.
Yeah, but how did we do that this past year when we had,
I think
It was the
on-
3rd.
It was on a Saturday, so we were able to work around that.
okay,
Being on a Sunday, we can't.
gotcha, okay,
Start of work week.
okay. Any other? So I think, do we need a motion to approve
Well,
this?
if you wanna move it, not move it, if you wanna okay it tonight, we could take a motion to do that, or if we need to,
I think we ought to table it a month and listen for feedback from the community
Okay.
on that. That's my recommendation, anyway.
Matt, Jenny?
I'm good either way. I mean, just being in education for 25 years, I've gone to work as a teacher late after Labor Day. I finished halfway into June. I've started early like this. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean,
I think there's gonna be people upset either way, but I'm good too with an open discussion and getting feedback. I mean, I don't think it needs to be decided upon tonight, I don't think. But I don't have a problem with the calendar either. I mean, but if we think it's in the best interest of, making a decision, getting more feedback, I'm good with waiting too.
Some
Either way.
districts I've seen have kind of put a calendar out for public comment. Is that, we've never done that.
well, actually you have, and that's what's on the agenda right now. Yeah, this is for public comment, but you have the authority to say, public comment is good, we're gonna roll with it tonight. That's why I said you could do that,
Yeah, I would.
but that's why I have the terminology on there. So, I mean, like I said, I'll do whatever the board decides to do.
Is there a way to streamline public comment?
I mean.
Like, how do we collect
ask the
that?
public
Well,
comment?
yeah,
That info?
Well, people
Or
can
is it
contact
just
us.
People might
typical
call or
people
email,
call?
or
Yeah.
you guys might hear some things.
Do we open the floor for public comment for those that are here? Is that-
There's not enough people to make that. I mean, you could put it out on Facebook and
I see
say,
Miss Miller
hey,
here.
this is our proposed schedule.
I mean, I'm open to deferring it to the next meeting, but at the same time, to Matt's point, I think you're always gonna have people
Yeah.
that are, I mean, we're, beginning when my kids first started, we were always going after Labor Day. We didn't have anything before Labor Day. It was always after the fair. So, you know, we shift the calendar, and, you know, some years we've had the whole Thanksgiving week. So, but I think as long as we're cognizant of the timing and release this early enough for everyone to have it for scheduling, it's, in my opinion, not as problematic.
It's
of a
2 days different than this year.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. It's a 2-day earlier start than this year.
People
Yeah.
complain this year, though, too.
Right, that's exactly the point. They complain about, you're gonna always have somebody that's gonna find the negative. I guess the question I'd have for you, Mr. Knoll, is
Yes.
what would be your preference from a timeline of approval? Is it more valuable to have this approved now and published, or are you?
I think our parents would appreciate, that's why I bring it in January, to be honest with you. I think our parents would appreciate it sooner than later,
Okay.
to be honest with you. So I know people like to plan ahead, and I know what the next year's gonna look like. I don't know if a month would.
So can I
Yeah.
make a motion to adopt it tonight?
You could?
You can.
Just before you make that motion, Jenny, I guess Dave, I'm just gonna go back to your comment of holding. Historically, have we always taken this to
We've
public
never had
comment?
it out. I mean, it's actually impressive to have that scheduled together this early. I mean, I can't, usually it's like March, isn't it? Patty, our historian?
You know, we don't wanna wait
We
that
were
long.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think we've reviewed it last
Feel
year.
like I wanna open it.
before we
I
reviewed it
would
in
hope last
January,
year we did it
approved
January to
later.
February, I would
We
hope.
see our PTA president, can we ask her for comment, or no? Or is that not allowed for public comment?
That's not protocol.
Okay, it's
no.
not protocol.
You're the
I don't
president,
wanna,
though,
I don't
Mayor.
wanna.
You are the president, that you are the president. I can be
Since
sidebar.
we're considering this public comment, I'm gonna open this up
There you
and
go.
just, since I see you in the audience, do you have any feedback that you'd like to provide?
The only feedback that I would think to just consider most importantly is the conditions of the school in August. We've battled that quite a bit with CDMS and CH, and August is probably one of the hotter months of the year. So I think we need to remember and consider going back earlier in August is getting us continually further into the heat of the summer versus, May, we're getting out, it's still be 50 degrees. So I just caution because I know when people were upset, as, Dave had said, people are always gonna be upset one way or the other. But I think one good thought or talking point that you all might wanna talk about before you solidify is we're talking about facilities, we're talking about the state of what's happening in our schools right now. And air conditioning is a really big one when it's 80, 90 degrees out, and that's the end of August. So just something to consider from my perspective with the parents talking.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Good point.
All right. So, to that point, maybe we just, Jenny, I don't know, if there's,
Well, there wasn't a second, so
yeah, no,
it's
there
not
wasn't a second.
official.
So for that, maybe we defer this at least for our next meeting for,
I guess give me some direction. Are you telling me start after Labor Day?
no, but
Okay. Or are you telling me to start on the 29th?
I think,
What makes it more,
Well,
I mean, if I were scheduling, I would say the 29th. I mean, I think there is validity to having those testing. I was skeptical when we first adopted that, but it seems like that's been working out. I've had good feedback from teachers and so forth.
Right.
Well, if we start the
So-
29th, the kids benchmarking won't be there at all,
Well,
right.
except to do their benchmark. They won't have school.
But that's why we started doing that.
Yeah,
was
but,
to do that
but
benchmarking.
if we started this year, 2 days later than this, then that would mean we would start on the 24th, not the 29th. If we do it exactly the same way we did this year.
Correct.
But we started, when we moved it back from after Labor Day to before this break, it was to do the benchmarking. That's why we did it.
Yeah, like, we did, what, 3 days?
They
Then it-
still had at least one full day of school.
I think we did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, they've always
Last year-
had at least 1 or 2
Yeah.
full days
We
of
didn't do
school
that
before
before
the
the-
fair.
All right, we'll,
Yeah.
use Mr. Vittle's term, we'll ruminate
Yeah,
on that
I
a
was-
little bit. How about that?
Okay,
Okay? I'll come back with something next month again for you.
okay. And then maybe we'll pulse out the communities as well as we can.
Yep.
And go from there.
Sound good?
All right, thank you.
Okay, so how about, like to recommend the adoption of resolution number 69-2022, the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund, found in exhibit number 3.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting resolution 69-2022, the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund?
So moved, Campbell.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
Yes,
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 70-2022, determining to proceed with the issuance of school improvement bonds in exhibit number 4.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting resolution 70-2022, determining to proceed with the issuance of the school improvement bonds?
So moved, Wilkerson.
Second, Campbell.
Any discussion? Just to reinforce, this is in our pursuit of our building facility quest.
Correct.
So at this point, this would be, would this come back another time, or is this the
No,
final?
this is number 2.
This is number 2, so
Of
we're
2.
good. Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good. Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
yes,
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend approving the criteria architect engineer contract with BSHM Architect, Inc., exhibit number 7.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion approving the criteria architect engineer contract with BSHM as found in Exhibit 7?
So moved, Campbell.
Second, Wilkerson.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes. And Patty, you'll cover donations?
Sure. Canfield PTA, $1,000 for staff appreciation. Matt McKim, $250 for Hilltop Library Fund. Crow's Cabinets, Inc., $250 for CHS Art Club. Wendy Grahovsky, $25, CHS Senior Class Craft Show. And Mark Davis, $200 for the Kate Farragher Memorial Trust Fund. Total cash donations, $1,725.
I need to give a shout out to the PTA and all the great folks that do so many things for Canfield. That nice, generous donation allows us to do something really cool for every staff member in the district. And that gesture goes a long way. So I want to publicly thank them.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you to all the donations as well. And so with that, we do need a motion to accept these, right? So can I have a motion to accept the January donations?
So moved, Wilkerson.
Second, Klucher,
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kluchar?
yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes.
I just have a couple brief things. First of all, Military Appreciation Night is Friday, January the 21st, at our boys' basketball game. Mr. Campbell and I are going to be making a brief presentation and basically just giving Canfield an opportunity to thank everyone that served in our armed forces. We're part of a Purple Star Committee, and one of our projects was to have this activity. So past and present folks in the military will get into the game for free, but we're just going to spend a little time recognizing them and their service. Our band and choir are going to be participating as well. So it'd be a short presentation, but one that I'm proud to bring to Canfield. So looking forward to that. Strategic planning is underway, and the board actually went through that about an hour ago. It's our parents' turn. So in my last Tuesdays, I said that next Tuesday, the 18th, and Thursday, the 20th, was going to be our parents' opportunity. We're going to do an in-person at 9 a.m., either one of those days, here at the high school in the media center. So we'll be able to spread out and take care of one another that way. We're going to do an in-person, we're going to do virtual at 6 p.m. both nights. So I have a company working with us that's going to actually facilitate that. We'll get that link information out to everybody, social media. I'll probably make an all-call as well. So be looking for your opportunity to give us some input and a roadmap for the next 5 years in Canfield. And then finally, as I always give the board every day, we have a COVID update. Not a bad day today. 1 student at the high school, 3 at the middle school, 1 at Hilltop, 1 at CH, but obviously what's critical to me, 0 staff members again today.
That's great.
So that's the good news. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. I think now that pretty much sums up the meeting, and I think we will now be moving into executive session. So for those of you in attendance, thank you. When we come out of executive session, there will be no action taken. But at this point, I need a motion to go into executive session to consider the purchase of property and also to consider the appointment and employment of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Otway?
Yes. Thank you.
We've done 11.